Hi, Geminis. This is our February 2020 reading. I truly missed doing a reading for you all in January 2020. Of course, I did truly miss doing readings for all of the signs in January 2020. I really needed to play catch up. I'm going to keep trying to do those monthly pick a card readings. That's what I did instead for January 2020. If you didn't see that, I did a pick a card reading. I'm going to continue to do those as often as possible, but I also want to do these individual signs when I can too. So we're back to it this month, and the Seven of Fire is your first card out, Gems. We're looking at someone in a somewhat defensive position. But are they, defending themselves against competitors? Are you standing up for what you believe in some way, shape, or form? Are you rallying support for your cause in some way, shape, or form? Let's see what else comes through for you. We are using the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot deck, Gems. If you are interested in this deck, just check out the description box down below. You can also find information there about personal readings and donating to the channel if you are interested. I'm sorry about the shaking. We will get that under control. So we also have the Two of Earth coming through and the Ace of Air. Interesting. Okay, we've got, as I said, the Two of Pentacles here crossing you. Two of Earth, talking about you juggling, stalling, creating a distraction, or just being distracted yourself. And then we've got the Ace of Air, Ace of Swords here in your crowning thoughts. So this new realization, this new truth, this epiphany, and it may be a revelation, really, that you're sort of finally accepting. Because it looks like in the root of the situation, we've got the Tower card here. So it looks like this revelation, this epiphany, this truth has already come in and really shaken things up, your foundation. But that truth is finally resonating with you. You're finally totally accepting it or understanding the weight of it, the brilliance of it, the magnitude of it, the implications of it, right? For a lot of you anyway. And then we've got interesting. Okay. Yeah. Brilliant. The tarot, I mean, is just brilliant. I wasn't even really sure how I was going to read this spread, and I can tell by the way that these cards have shown up that it was ready for either interpretation that I was going to give it. But we've got the Three of Swords as well coming through. This is a piece of advice for you. We've got the Knight of Chalices in reverse is in your recent past. The Two of Chalices is in your near future, Gems, and the Queen of Earth, Queen of Pentacles, is here in your more distant future. So you do have two twos on the table, Gems. 22 may be particularly significant to you for some specific reason around this time, and or, looking up the significance of 22 may hold an additional message for you. We've got the Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Earth on the bottom of the deck. Success. This card, this energy does speak of success. So if you, gems, are juggling two people, more than one person or more than one project, more than one anything, and it is going to disappoint someone, let someone down, maybe even break their heart in order to make a choice, because you are juggling choices. Let's leave it at that, right? If you are juggling choices of some kind, then your advice card is to break that heart, disappoint that person, let that person down. Get that done, get it over with. If your gems, it seems then that the advice is that you are making it worse by waiting. And I have done this. I have done this not so long ago, okay, where I was like, I should wait to let this person down on this particular matter. I know it's near and dear to their heart, and I have to just be honest with them about where I stand on this, and it is going to rock them because they haven't been hearing me when I've been trying to tell them what my truth is versus theirs, because they haven't wanted to hear it. And I know that. And I know that in the near future, I have got to hit them with this. And I waited, and I had my reasons for waiting, and I rationalized it, and I justified it. Are you justifying it? Are you justifying it? Because then you know something's wrong. I justified it. I heard that years ago, that if you're justifying something, it's demonic in nature. And it has proven to be true for me every time I've revisited that wealth, that little piece of wisdom. Every time I check in with that, it's true. So I'm almost certain when I say that to you, if you're justifying it, there's a problem. And that's what I did. I rationalized it, and it was really justification long enough that I let that happen. I took that extra time, and it made it worse. And it was going to be bad anyway. And it's that type of a situation for a lot of you where waiting is making it worse. And yet that's so interesting, because in the near future I see this bond forming. So it's very similar to Taurus's message, actually, gems, in the sense that it looks like there might be a three-party situation and a second or new bond forming before that three-party situation is dealt with, which I guess in essence is what makes it a three-party situation. That's why we can label it that way, right? But there's a second message here. There's a different really train of thought. If a ways back somebody has rocked your world with a truth, if it's not so much that you've got one that you need to present to someone that you've waited too long to present, if someone or something else has rocked your world with a truth, gems, it may have been miscommunicated. And so your advice may be to take that into account, that might have been a miscommunication when that truth was revealed to you, when it was conveyed to you. I'm not saying that there wasn't a truth there for you to take note of, but it may have come off a lot worse and more harsh than it needed to be or really was. Ultimately, I see you landing in a place of lack and insecurity, anxiety. And I think that's why you are being advised here that there has either been a major miscommunication, or you need to make sure that there isn't one. Either way, this is about clear communication, and more poignantly, the lack thereof. That's what this is about. But you can fix that, and that's why you're here, and that's why you're getting this message. You're not only getting this message here, you're getting this message likely most of you other places as well. It's trying to come into you because there's either been a major miscommunication, and that's why you see yourself forming a bond here in the near future with someone who there's already been some heartbreak with, or with someone else, even though you're involved with a different someone. Because in the root of the situation, there's been some serious, severe, disappointing miscommunication. And you need to see that. Or you need to prevent that type of thing from happening by just being honest about where you stand and not waiting too long to go ahead and open up and be real with someone here. You know the truth. In that case, if that's your scenario, that truth has already rocked you. You've already realized what that means for who you are, what you want, what your reality is, what your, situation can look like. This is on your mind. Your higher self, when your ego is quiet, is so aware of that revelation still. It hasn't let it go because it's just your truth. It's who you are. It's what you want. It's what you need. And you've been aware of it for so long. And some of you have been keeping it from someone. That's why we see this Knight of Chalices in the reverse here in the recent past. Some of you have been hiding that truth from someone or multiple people. You've been concealing it. There's some expression of affection or love that you're not releasing, that you're not letting out. And so is it even truly honest affection if you're not displaying it? Or it's like an artistic, creative expression. Still, that's, an affectionate, loving expression that you're not sharing, you're not releasing. And some of you are actually manipulating someone, maybe just yourself, but someone, in doing so, by keeping this truth that you have known that has already changed your world. And that's mostly what it's coming down to, is that for most of you, you're more so like playing yourself than anyone else by keeping this truth and keeping this expression. But you're trying to, you're in a defensive position. As we said at the beginning of this reading, is this defensiveness that we see? Yeah, you're in a defensive position. You're trying to defend what you have built for yourself. And as I tried to pick this card up, it tried to flip itself upside down to emphasize what I was saying, that you're resisting allowing something to fall apart. It fell apart the moment you realized the revolutionary truth, the epiphany that shook the foundation to begin with, that meant this is only knowledge that your foundation is already cracked. It's not saying, oh, now your foundation is cracked. It's saying, oh, here is the inspection papers that show that your foundation has been cracked for a long time. Here's the truth. Here's that truth. That's the truth that you can't stop thinking about when your ego is quiet. But you're trying to guard this still. You built this for yourself. And so you're trying to defend it. And that's why this reading finds you in a defensive position. You don't want to let something break down. You don't want this to resonate. Most of the people that this resonates with, I'm only not even 14 minutes in, and I would venture to say most of the people that this really resonates with have like probably checked out, have like clicked out already, because you're trying to defend something you built for yourself, and it either never was for you or it's just not for you anymore. Either way, you're going to, of course, try to defend it. Some part of you still believes that it's yours, but you need to stand up for what you really believe in. And maybe some of you have switched onto that vibe where you need to stand up for what the authentic you believes in. There has been manipulation here in the recent past. Was this you still pretending like this is your reality when you've already been knocked out of it? You're already really dissociated from it in some respect. So let the hearts break. Let the disappointment allow the chips and the pieces to crumble and fall where they may. This bond that is forming as a result of the truth that still stands, that remains, that shook everything, is undeniable and unavoidable and inevitable, as is the heartbreak that you're advised to just go ahead and lean into, or just disappointment of some sort, And I'm hitting this again. I'm hitting it so heavy. I'm repeating everything I'm saying. I'm repeating the advice. I'm repeating the message multiple times, because the outcome of the situation, the path that you're on now, is a state where at best your wealth is blocked, your mastery over your physical realm. At worst, we see insecurity and anxiety and instability. So that's just the path that you're on now. That's what we're always looking at, as a snapshot of the path you're on now, and that can be absolutely shifted, changed, avoided. And it looks like in order to do so, you need to let things fall apart. You need to acknowledge that your truth is something different than you thought it was. You need to allow hearts to break, disappointment to be felt where it is necessary. And I think for most of you, in truth, this is not to butter you up, to sprinkle sugar over anything here. In truth, I do think for most of you, it's just that stability and wealth and health is blocked. Yeah, you're blocking it. I don't mean to smile about it. I've been through it, I've been through it. But you're blocking it by resisting allowing things to fall apart and resisting communicating something that is going to disappoint people, by continuing to juggle choices or acknowledge that someone else is juggling you as a choice, whichever way this tips, right? Either way, both parties are trying to defend something that they once strongly believed in, and they're confused why all of a sudden they don't believe in it the same way. We all stumble in the dark, groping for something to help support us on that one when that happens. We're human. And there are moments of divine change that we don't get a guidebook for. We don't get a pamphlet for. We don't get reasons for. We don't understand why our feelings have shifted. Our reality shifts at a given moment. And it may be months or years or lifetimes before that completely reveals itself, why a conscious human understanding of why certain events had to play out that way. We're not always gifted those types of downloads and understandings in a present moment when it's happening. That's why it is such a gift when we are, but we aren't always. We just aren't. And a lot of you are dealing with a moment like that, where in actuality, what we are seeing as a map of your success. This is how we succeed, gems. This is how groundbreaking, revolutionary, heartbreaking, disappointing, exciting, confusing, honest, real. This is how real that gets. This is how real that looks. It's messy. It's hard, so much so that you're at a moment where you need a message like this, because you're headed towards some instability if you don't check yourself. So I hope you're receiving this. I hope that the needed insight has reached you, at least some of it, right? Because this is what your success and stability looks like. It's your path to it. It's your path to accepting it, to owning it, to realizing it, which means there's a little bit of work left to do. That's what success is, right? So, gems, again, I hope the needed insight was able to reach you, some of you, at least some of it. And if you are interested in a personal reading, if that's what you need here, just scroll down to the description box down below. You can check out all that information. I think I told you that. And thank you so much for all of your support to Lunartics Tarot. It's truly appreciated, all of it, and all of the different forms that it comes in. And I truly look forward to doing another reading for us just as soon as I can. I love you, gems.